Is it even worth it? That's a question I have asked the Lord so many times in my journey with Him over these last few years. Is it really worth it, God? All the things that you tell me to pick up, all the things that you tell me to lay down, move to this country, write this book that I'm telling you to write, start this group, lay this money down, go do this, go do that. Even the small things that the Lord speaks to us about. I need you to correct how you're doing this. One of the things that He said to me that I wasn't so fond of, He said to me one day, Angel, you know you can't keep hanging out in sports bars the way that you like. How am I going to use you in certain spaces? He said, what if I wanted you to pray for someone that was there? What if I needed to speak to them? What if I needed you to give them a word? And they look at you and they say, how can you say what God is saying to me because you're sitting there having a beer? I was like, God, why can't you mature them to understand that you can speak to anyone you want, however you want, through anybody you want? Or better yet, how about you mature them to a space where they're not judging me the way that you don't judge me? I like a sports bar because I love that I can go into one place and I can see all the games that I want. I can see my team playing, I can see your team losing, the camaraderie in there. You meet people that are your rivals and your enemies, and there's so much junk talking going on that you end up being friends. I love all of it. I also don't mind a good beer either. But when the Lord said that to me, I was like, man, God, I had a decision to make. The Lord was trying to get me to think differently. And in those spaces, the Lord is always calling us to come higher. He is always testing to see, where's your sacrifice? Where do you want to be in this walk with me? What are you looking for your life? And oftentimes, as I am making my sacrifices, I say, God, is it even worth it? Is this going to count for anything? Is there going to be a good return on this, Lord? What about the ROI? What about it? Is it even worth it, God? Sometimes I think we look at other people and we watch them on their journey and we're like, man, they must be really excited to do things for the Lord. They must love pressing in this way. And probably people look at me and they think that about my life. But it's not always so easy. Many times I've said, God, is it really worth it? All the things that you've told me that you're doing in my life, I haven't seen them come to pass yet. With the Lord, you never get quick returns. Everything is about fruit, and we all know that it takes a season for the fruit to grow. And that's the way it is with God. So a lot of the things that the Lord has said that He's doing in my life, I haven't seen come to pass. So it's a legit question to say, Lord, is it really worth it? Now I know in 2025, so many of the doors are coming open. And this is partly why I felt like the Lord wanted me to leave this video right now. And I want to encourage you because the more time you spend with the Lord, the less you start looking at the sacrifice that you're making. You start falling in love with the Father. You realize how much He loves you, and it's hard to not return that love to Him. You start looking at less of what you're giving up. You start being more selfless instead of selfish because He's worth it. He's always worth it. But in the points that God is asking me to do a thing, I have a decision to make. It's not because I'm so excited to do it for Him or that I'm walking in such a spiritual place that I'm like, yes, it's always so easy to do what God is asking. I mean, even right now, I'm in Melbourne. It's been great, but I haven't slept in my own bed since November 28th. And here we are in the middle of January. It's not always easy. And sometimes I do say, Lord, is it really going to be worth it? All these things that you tell me to do. Even as I said, I try to get comfortable and it feels like the Lord pulls the chair out from under me. There's no time for comfort, Angel. You have more that you can do. You have greater potential. God, is it really going to be worth it? All of the sacrifice, all that I'm pressing in, is it going to be worth it? But I'm telling you, the more time that you spend with Him, the more you will fall in love with Him. And you will start to realize how the answer to that question is absolutely yes.